Today in America, there are more than 50 million people over the age of 65. And North Carolina has one of the largest and fastest growing populations of seniors in the country, with currently, and it's growing, just under 2 million seniors. And who are we talking about? We're talking about folks that have spent their entire lives working hard, building families, and contributing to their community, and creating a path for so many of us to follow. However, far too often, our nation does not provide our seniors with the support and the resources they need. In fact, I'm sad to share with you that in our nation, right now, at least 9% of our seniors live in poverty. Among women 80 years old and over, that number jumps to 14%. Today, 1 in 10 seniors reports experiencing elder abuse. And that's an issue I've been working on since back in my days when I was district attorney. And on the issue of elder abuse, far too often, they suffer silently for fear that to tell anyone might mean that they will be deprived of their ability to live independently and be taken seriously and treated with respect. And today, millions of seniors still struggle to afford the health care they need and they deserve. But our administration is determined to lower health care costs for our seniors, and a key part of that work is lowering the cost of insulin. So why is that a big deal? Well, because today, 1 in 3 seniors in our nation has diabetes. And for seniors on Medicare, a month of insulin can cost more than $100. Extremely expensive. I've talked with our seniors in different parts of the country who talk about how they ration their insulin because they cannot afford to refill their prescription. I met with one of the community pharmacists just about a few minutes ago, talking about what he has seen when seniors come into the pharmacy and say, I can't refill my prescription yet because I'm not ready to be able to pay that until the beginning of next month. Right? So folks who need a prescription filled because a doctor, a medical health professional said that's exactly what you need to alleviate your pain or improve the quality of your life, unable to fill the prescription that would do just that. Folks who talk about with their insulin, they then, to stretch it out, will do 1 day on and 1 day off, which means, and the medical professionals here can tell you, to do that means that they endure dizziness and nausea and blurry vision because they simply don't have any other choice but to try and stretch it out. And understand the importance of this in terms of the numbers of folks we're talking about and the seriousness of this issue. A diabetic who goes for too long without insulin could fall into a coma or even die. And no one should have to worry and wonder about whether they will be able to afford the insulin that keeps them alive. And that is why, starting next year, our administration will cap the cost of insulin prescriptions for people on Medicare to $35 a month. And frankly, it's long overdue. And the benefit will be to cover at least 1.4 million people in our country as part of our administration's larger campaign to lower the cost of prescription medication across the board. For years, and I've seen this over the years of being an attorney general, Roy knows this, when we defend consumers' rights, to being in the Senate and watching it from Washington, D.C. and those lobbyists, to being vice president. For years, the largest drug companies have made billions of dollars in profits, selling drugs for 10 to 100 times what they cost to make. For years, Big Pharma, that's what we call that group, Big Pharma, has fought to grow their profits by preventing Medicare from negotiating lower drug prices. And for years, they won. Because you see, Medicare was required by law, to pay whatever price the drug companies set. But not anymore. Not anymore. So last month, our administration gave Medicare the power to negotiate with Big Pharma on behalf of our seniors. And understand what that means. It means, yes, we're changing the game, but it also means this, in terms of breaking down the issue. It means that our seniors should not be out there having to fight for themselves against these powerful interests at a stage of life where they have earned the right to be treated with dignity by their community and their society and their nation. They should not have to be out there advocating for themselves, especially when they are at a moment of need in terms of being in pain or being sick, and just simply needing to be able to have access and to be able to afford the thing that will give them a better quality of life. So this single change, allowing Medicare to negotiate, will lower the price of prescription drugs for millions of Americans. Another healthcare issue for millions of our fellow Americans, including our seniors, is the issue of hearing aids. Everybody here knows what I'm talking about, right? It's a big issue. It's a big issue for those who know and want to talk with folks who need a hearing aid and for those who need a hearing aid. It's a big issue for all of us. Millions of people in our nation depend on hearing aids to help them live a full and independent life. To speak, for example, with the teller at the bank or the person who is the server at the restaurant, to hear the sermon in church, or to listen to a grandchild talk about their first day of school. But hearing aids are expensive. Sometimes they cost more than $5,000 a pair. And for people who are 70 years and older who need hearing aids, the numbers I've looked at tell us that only 1 in 3 of those in that category has ever actually used a hearing aid because of all these barriers to getting them. So this is why President Biden and I recently took a long overdue step to make hearing aids available over the counter, right? So no prescription. Go to the community pharmacist, right? So this will reduce the average cost of a pair of hearing aids by thousands of dollars. Soon, Americans with mild to moderate hearing loss will be able to buy their hearing aids at the local drugstore or pharmacy, no prescription needed. Because you know what you need. On some of these things, folks can self-diagnose, right? I know I can't hear something that I want to hear. And so it's practical, as well as absolutely intended to bring down the cost and allow so many people to access and afford the help they need. And so that brings me to my final point for today, which is the important work that we are doing to cap out-of-pocket prescription drug costs. So imagine this. Imagine, for example, a 70-year-old woman goes in for her annual checkup, and she complains about stiffness and pain in her joints. And after running some tests, her doctor diagnoses her with rheumatoid arthritis. And let's say a few days later, she goes down the street to her pharmacy to fill the prescription. And she learns that the copay for a single month of pills is $600 or $700. Across our nation, seniors with chronic medical conditions are paying as much as $10,000 a year for the medication they need to simply stay healthy and stay alive. Seniors who have to choose between paying their rent and filling their prescription. Seniors who are forced to cut their pills in half because they cannot afford their full prescription, a prescription for the dosage that they actually require. This has got to stop. It's got to stop. And this is why, beginning in 2025, our administration will cap out-of-pocket prescription drug cost to $2,000 a year for people on Medicare. We need to extend it beyond that. But for Medicare, you know, we've been fighting to actually extend a lot of this beyond Medicare, but this is where we are right now. The fight is not over. But what this means is that no matter how much your prescriptions cost, no matter how many prescriptions you have, and so many of our seniors have a dozen or more prescriptions that they need to take, for you, you will pay no more than $2,000 a year for your medicine. And so that means if you are on Medicare, or if you will soon be on Medicare, you will no longer have to worry that one terrible diagnosis will bankrupt you or your loved ones. So for President Biden and me, it really does come down to this. Access to health care should be a right, not a privilege for those who can afford it. It's that basic. And just think about it. Affordable health care it's about your health, and it's about more. First of all, we're talking about an essential need, right? We're not talking about a luxury. We're talking about an essential need. Also, access to affordable health care is about independence. Independence from debt, independence from fear, independence from pain. And affordable health care and access to affordable health care is also about peace of mind. The peace of mind that comes from knowing you will never have to choose between your physical well-being and your financial well-being. And affordable health care ultimately is about dignity. The dignity to which all people are entitled and deserve. And so that is why President Biden and I will continue with this fight, so that every person in our nation and every senior in our nation can access the health care they need and deserve. And with that, may God bless you, and may God bless America. Thank you. Thank you.